ConnectForth, the radio forum for students.
FVC, the place to relax and enjoy contemporary cuisine. The Gallery is Forfar College's premier restaurant situated on our Stirling campus with a stunning view of one of Scotland's most famous landmarks, the Wallace Monument. Join us for breakfast on weekdays from 10 to 11:15 or enjoy lunch in the afternoon from 12 till 2. And between 5 and 7pm on Tuesdays and Thursdays you're invited to savour a premium dinner perfected by our team of professional chefs. For reservations, call us at 01786 406 027 or send an email to gallery@forfvalley.ac.uk. FVC, the place to be.
FVC, the place to be for hair and beauty. From waxing to facial, styling to colour and foil, come and relax with us at our salons, based out of 3 of our 4 campuses in Alloa, Raploch and Falkirk, now open on Thursdays and Fridays. To find out the contact information, pick up one of the leaflets from around the college, or go on our Facebook page or the college website. FBC, the place to be for hair and beauty.
ConnectForth feature.
A study conducted by the National Union of Students in 2010 took account of 2,000 female students in the UK and discovered that 14% had been seriously, physically or sexually assaulted. 6 to 8% said they had been subject to sexual harassment, and almost a quarter had experienced unwanted sexual contact whilst at university.
I spoke with Scots politics and Guardian journalist Clinton Gallagher, who shared her experiences.
You're constantly on guard. Like, you know, when you're walking down the street and you see a group of guys and maybe they've had a drink, yeah? Like, one of them's going to say something to me. I just know this. So, you know, you cross the street because you don't want to, you know, be involved in a confrontation. Or there's the traditional, you know, you know, you get your keys out if you think that you're actually going to be, like, assaulted or something like that. And again, say this to a guy and they're like, whoa, do you not think that's overreacting? And you're like, well, when it happens to you every single day, you're kind of not, you know, as opposed to, you don't become desensitized to it, you just become more, like, aware of the signs. And you shouldn't have to do that. It's not like a bit of harmless, like, oh, this person's attractive, I think I'm going to tell them. You know, like, there's a fundamental power difference between men and women, even if you don't think that it applies to you. There is, and by catcalling a woman in the street, you're putting all this attention on her, you're making her feel really, really uncomfortable, and it's just not on. It's rude.
Although a high percentage of women have admitted to experiencing street harassment, it's a topic that is rarely openly discussed. Many women don't realise that what has happened to them is considered street harassment, or, by police definition, sexual assault.
I spoke with Eileen Maitland, information and resource worker of Rape Crisis Scotland, to get more information about the issue.
Street harassment, you know, comes in many forms. It can be where women are shouted at in the street. It can be where women are accosted in the street. I'm not sure how useful a sort of term it is in some ways, because it's important not to sort of muddy the waters. If you're actually talking about something that's sexual assault, I think, you know, it's important that you name it as sexual assault, just because we were finding that it was possibly obscuring serious forms of sexual violence. Sexual assault, for example, was maybe being passed off as or described as sexual bullying, which maybe sounds a bit less serious. And that, I think that sometimes can happen where there's young people involved. People are maybe not taking it as seriously as they should, just passing it off as something that's not that significant somehow. I think there is something like that going on.
With gender-based violence being the cause of death in 1 in 3 women worldwide, and statistics of sexual assault being so high, women are often scared to walk the streets alone.
I'd actually come back from the pub, so it was like midnight or something like that, and I was walking to my own front door, you know, like I had my keys in my hand and everything. You know when you're like getting your keys out and you're not really listening, and then I was aware that these 2 guys, like, who were smoking outside were talking to me, you know, so I kind of looked around and they were just like, oh, you're dirty, you're dirty, you know what I mean, just like saying these really crude sexual stuff to me, you know, and it kind of took me back, because I was like, what the, you know what I mean, I haven't said anything to you. So I wheeled around and started shouting back at these guys, like, who the hell do you think you're talking to? Why do you think it's okay? Yeah, you better hide behind your friend. And at the back of my mind, like, even though I was really, like, angry and, like, a little bit scared, a little bit of me was like, right, okay, shout as loudly as you can, because that way, if anything happens, at least the neighbours are awake. So at least the neighbours will be able to, you know, say something.
Walking down the streets doesn't seem to be the only place where women are being harassed. In the smoky, dim-lit dance floors of clubs, sexual assault is rife.
My friend was in a club with some of her friends, and some guy came over, groped her arse, and then kind of went, sniggering back to his pal. So she turned around just to be like, "What do you think you're doing?" And he spat in her face. So there's a lot of it in clubs. And then again, people are just like, "Well, what do you expect?" And it's like, well, it'd be kind of nice to go and dance to some really awful music without having to think that some guy's going to grope me. In some senses, this sort of harassment is so familiar to so many young women. They've become conditioned to accept it, and there is no reason why they should accept it. I can understand why that's happened, because it seems to be absolutely everywhere. But normalising sexual harassment is a dangerous development, and it's something that we should really sit up and take notice of and challenge.
Websites like the Lad Bible promote these types of activities, lad culture or lad mentality, and encourage groups of guys to sexually harass girls, referring to them as wenches and rating them out of 10.
It cannot become the norm for young men to behave in this way. I mean, we have to start asking ourselves, where are they getting these ideas from? What makes that acceptable? Where is that notion that is the way to behave? Where does that come from? We need to look at, our culture. We need to look at what young people are looking at on the internet. We need to look at misogynistic messages, where those are coming from. What are they saying? What does that mean for the way that men and women, young men and women in particular, negotiate relationships with one another? What does that mean in terms of consent when young people are negotiating sexual relationships? All of that is related to this issue. I mean, I don't think street harassment exists in a vacuum. It's not an activity or problem that exists on its own. It comes out of a wider culture that perpetuates attitudes that allow it to happen, and we need to look at those attitudes and their source.
Street harassment is not only a problem specific to women, it's also a huge issue in the LGBTQ community. A study in May 2013 revealed that over 46,000 LGBTQ individuals in Europe avoid public spaces like restaurants, public transport and parks due to fear of street harassment.
So I think it's really good that we open up the dialogue. When you make it a common talking point, and you say, look, this is happening, what do you think? What do you think? And also, look, you have to listen here. Bystanders have a very important role to play in overcoming this kind of behaviour, in making people understand that it won't be tolerated, that this is not the way we want to live. People need to be equipped with the tools to make them feel confident about stepping in. There are quite a lot of bystander intervention sort of training courses around. For example, there's one called Get Savvy, which has been developed, and I think which has been carried out in quite a lot of universities and colleges around the country. Get Savvy is basically about helping people to learn how it's possible to intervene in situations like that without putting themselves or someone else at risk, without making the situation worse.
There's more than just anecdotal evidence of street harassment. These accounts are backed up by statistics, which prove that it's a lot more common than first thought, and a lot more serious. The lasting effects of sexual assault on a person's emotional well-being are something many of these women have to live with. Often, they are left feeling intimidated, demeaned, shaken and humiliated. Others suffer more seriously from post-traumatic stress disorder.
It's a very insidious thing. I mean, with this sort of normalising impact on women, I mean, it makes women feel objectified. It makes them feel unsafe. I think it makes them feel undervalued. It makes them feel that they at times think twice about what they wear, which no one should have to do. People should have equal freedoms in terms of the choices they make when they go out, and the same kind of feeling of safety should be a possibility for everyone. It just perpetuates inequalities, which you can see absolutely everywhere else in society, and it's something that we need to get rid of. Organisations such as ourselves and rape crisis centres can offer support to anyone who's suffered sexual violence, sexual assault. And I think that, we should not be living in a culture where people are frightened to make a complaint, or where they think they're making a fuss about nothing, because this is not a fuss about nothing. This is an insidious and damaging aspect of the world we live in at the moment, sadly.
Clearly, more has to be done to make men aware of the effects their actions have. The consensus of these women's views is that what men seem to think is harmless or just a joke is actually something a lot more serious.
I think it plays into the idea of making women objects as opposed to autonomous beings. Because, it's like a constant degradation. And I think that has a knock-on effect for society. It's part of this knock-on effect that says women aren't people, women are things, hoot at them, degrade them, do what you want. So it's quite dangerous. We offer support to anyone who's been affected by sexual violence at any time in their lives, and that can be any form of sexual violence at all. We run a helpline from our offices here every evening from 6 till midnight. It's completely free to call. The number is 08088010302, and we also offer support by email. The address is support@rapecrisisscotland.org.uk.
ConnectForth feature.
Come down to your local View Cinema, where you're always guaranteed a high quality service. View Cinemas offer the latest releases for customers of all ages. View Cinemas also offer a range of drinks and snacks for your delight. View Cinemas offer competitive ticket prices: £6.90 for adults, £5.20 for kids, £4.30 for students, and £20.80 for a family of 4. And for just an extra £1.50 per ticket, you can enjoy selected movies in eye-catching 3D. For more information on prices and movie showings, visit www.myview.com.
Exams and final assessments are now looming large. Waterstones have a great selection of books to help you over the line. Situated at the Marches Centre, Stirling and High Street, Falkirk, Waterstones is open 7 days a week from 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Monday to Friday and 11 to 5 p.m. on Sundays. The Stirling branch is also open till 8 p.m. on Thursdays. Students get a 10% discount on purchases of £25 or more in association with Unidays. Simply go on to www.waterstones.com or myunidays.com to receive your unique discount code and order your books. It's free delivery to all UK addresses and the order is dispatched within 24 hours. For leisure time after all that hard work, Waterstones have a great selection of books for all genres. Thrillers, fantasy and sci-fi books are available for as little as £5.59. So for all your leisure reading or studies, get to Waterstones.
Come down to Cineworld for the ultimate film experience. Grab some popcorn, a drink, and kick back and relax. Cineworld is dedicated to bringing you the hottest new releases, and with great student discounts, there's never been a better time to go to the cinema. Find us at Central Retail Park, Falkirk. And don't forget about Bargain Tuesdays. Any ticket, anytime, only £5.80. Or pay monthly for our unlimited card to enjoy as many films as you want. Check out more at cineworld.co.uk.
ConnectForth feature.
I'm Jasmine Crawford, and with summer just around the corner and the end of exams in sight, ConnectForth sent me to investigate what can happen when the partying gets out of hand at this time of year in the Forth Valley area, and to learn about some of the ways that people can protect themselves. So what's your favourite thing about going on a night out?
My favourite thing about a night out is really just having a laugh with mates and having a few pints.
Getting steaming! It's really about seeing my friends, meeting up with them and socialising with people that are out as well.
Yeah, I like dancing in the kind of club because once you've had a few drinks you don't really care how you look.
Probably meeting up with friends I haven't seen for a long time and having a good laugh.
When you go for a night out, there are many potentially dangerous situations that you can find yourself in, such as being spiked, assaulted or harassed. There are also severe health consequences of binge drinking, such as short-term memory loss and alcohol poisoning. There are things that you can do to protect yourself though. Most nightclubs now provide spikies, a plastic bottle topper to prevent your drink from being spiked. However, if your drink is served in a glass, make sure that you never leave your drink unattended. In order to prevent yourself getting ill on a night out, try and pace yourself. Easier said than done, I know, but it's vital that you know your limits. Also, making sure you don't go out on an empty stomach is crucial, and if you find you're feeling a bit sick on a night out, take a break from drinking and ask for a pint of water from the bar. It doesn't cost anything, but it does make you feel a lot better.
Let's go have a party, man.
Joining us on ConnectForth is a local student who wishes to remain anonymous. So, do you go out often?
Yeah, I used to go out quite a lot actually, but because of a bad experience I've stopped going out. Maybe once a month now I go out.
And what was that bad experience?
Well, it was just after I turned 18. I had went out to a club in Stirling, and because I hadn't been out a lot before, I wasn't really used to the sort of measures and the amount of drinks that I should be drinking to make sure I'm feeling all right. I had too much to drink, definitely. I felt sober one minute, and the next minute I was really, really drunk. I knew I'd had too much to drink, but at that point I'd drank too much and I hadn't let it catch up with me, so there was nothing I could really do at that point. I couldn't walk properly, I could barely speak, could barely even keep my eyes open. I knew I just wanted to go to my bed, but I just wasn't feeling well at all. I ended up, I was really, really sick, and I got taken home and taken to my bed. And when I woke up the next day, I was just constantly sick, and I just couldn't stop being sick for days on end. I was so dehydrated, it felt kind of like food poisoning, like I couldn't consume anything, I couldn't even drink water without being sick again. I considered going up to the hospital, but I knew that they would just think of me as some stupid girl who'd went out and had too much to drink, and I didn't really want to be, stereotyped like that, because there is already a big stereotype about girls going out and drinking, especially when they've just turned 18. It was a few days before I stopped being sick, and eventually after about a week or so I started to feel better, but it definitely put me off going out. The way that I felt afterwards, it just wasn't worth it, and especially for the fact that there wasn't a lot of the night that I could actually remember, so the experience itself wasn't worth it. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone.
Local street pastor James is with us at ConnectForth to tell us a bit about the incredible work that they do. So for those who don't know, what exactly is a street pastor?
Well, street pastors are a group of Christian volunteers who work in the Stirling area. We hand out personal safety equipment, offer emotional support and physical help to hundreds of people in the city every month.
What do you mean by personal safety equipment?
Well, we offer shock blankets during winter months for people stuck out in the cold, flip-flops for girls who are unable to walk in their heels, and personal alarms.
Wow, that's amazing. What else do you provide?
We also provide bus timetables to help people getting home, water and chocolate bars to give people energy.
What inspired you to become a volunteer?
The aim of street pastors is to help ensure the safety of vulnerable people. We even remove bottles and potential weapons from the streets to try and cut down on violence and vandalism. I wanted to help stop people coming to any harm, even if it's something as simple as giving them a bottle of water after a night out.
One harrowing story of what can happen when things go wrong on a night out is the story of David O'Halloran. Here to report on the issue is ConnectForth news anchor Shannon Morell.
David O'Halloran was an 18-year-old student who went missing after a night out in Stirling in January 2013. David was last seen crossing Henderson Street in Bridge of Allen around 2 in the morning after being dropped off in a taxi, getting out before reaching his student accommodation. In April 2013, 3 months after he went missing, David's body was discovered in woodlands near Bridge of Allen, 2 miles from the university. CCTV showed that David had only been wearing jeans and a t-shirt when he left the taxi, and on that night temperatures plummeted to -4 degrees. A post-mortem examination revealed that quantities of the date rape drug GHB had been found in David's system. However, tests could not indicate whether David had taken the drug himself or not, and in August 2013, police closed the investigation. Since the incident, the University of Stirling has introduced a safe taxi scheme, with 13 local taxi companies participating. The scheme enables students to get home from a night out in an emergency situation if they have no money. The university will cover the fare through an account set up with the taxi company. Then the student will pay the money back to the university. Also, since the incident, David's mum, Donna O'Halloran, has been fighting for tougher drinks laws in Scotland and for drug detecting coasters to be introduced to pubs and clubs.
How do you keep yourself safe on a night out?
My dad drilled it into me from a young age that I should never leave my drinks unattended, so I always make sure that I've got my drink in my hand so I know that there's not anything in it.
On a night out, usually between every second and third drink, I tend to have a glass of water. It means that I stop myself from getting as drunk and makes my night last longer.
Normally I'll just have some drinks, and when I feel like I'm getting too drunk, I'll just stop.
I've never really thought about it much, but I guess I'm always out with a group of friends, so I guess that keeps me safe.
I think I just keep an eye on my drink the whole night. I think that would keep me safe.
Well, I don't really know. I think it's more just common sense. I don't drink as much, and I just make sure my friends are alright and we all get home safe.
So whether it's you and some friends going to the pub for a couple of drinks to celebrate the end of your exams, or a crazy course night out, it's vital that you look after yourself and others. Remember that help is out there, so make the most of it and have a fantastic night out. Once again, this has been Jasmine Crawford for ConnectForth.
FVC, the place to relax and enjoy contemporary cuisine. The Bistro is Forth Valley College's own cutting-edge dining experience located on the Raploch campus. Open every weekday from 9 till 4. Come sit down with us and enjoy a hot cup of coffee with a selection of delicious pastries and confectionery delights. If you're feeling peckish, join us for breakfast in the morning or a delicious lunch in the afternoon. The Bistro is also open till 6 on Wednesdays, where we host a carvery from free featuring a variety of premium meats. For reservations, please call 01786 272 318 or email us at bistro@forthvalley.ac.uk. FVC, the place to be.
700 years after the legendary battle, the new Battle of Bannockburn experience puts you right at the heart of Scotland in the centre of the action. The newly reopened Heritage Centre allows you to be part of the crucial event in Scottish history. Using cutting-edge technology, experience medieval combat like never before. This experience is as realistic as it is awe-inspiring. To take your place amongst the brave warriors, then contact the Heritage Centre on 0844 493 2139. That's 0844 493 2139. Or simply log on to www.battleofbannockburn.com.
ConnectForth, the radio forum for students. ConnectForth.
You have been listening to ConnectForth, the radio forum for students.
Radio.
This podcast was brought to you by the Back 2 Media and Communications students. We thank you for listening and we hope you will continue to tune in.